Hello to anyone who could be watching this on the internet. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role playing games online. It's quite fab. Specifically, indie tabletop role playing games, PBTA games, Fortune of the Dark, OSR story games, indie games, all that fun stuff. You can find everything the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find all sorts of things, like blogs, forums. Like there's the zine that Gauntlet puts out, called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games or original games in itself. There's also the podcast network that Gauntlet puts out. In fact, there's just a most recent episode of the Gauntlet podcast, which is like a roundup of all the games. It's kind of like played within the community. Some really cool stuff and insights there. There's also Gauntlet Community Open Gaming, which is kind of like a mini online con, where you can just come over the weekend, play games with ourselves. Then there's the most recent one happened in October, but there should be one after the new year quite soon. So watch out for that.
Going to be in February, I think.
Ooh. Yeah, February. One of those weekends. I should have looked it up. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. People have advance warning, but the main thing that kind of like revolves around is the calendar, through which like all the games that God plays are set up, including this game. This game is a one shot of Night Rain, which is a game of stealth, guile, violence, and devilry. Oh wow, almost everyone has their has their copies. Game by Ollie Jeffrey. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you need to have had your copy here. It's just that some folks did, so it's fine. It is a game by Ollie Jeffrey about the four things I mentioned: stealth and guile, violence and devilry, about assassins and skulking around a quasi Edwardian metropolis, taking on a corrupt cabal of noble houses. This is basically like someone looked at Blades of the Dark and was like, "This isn't dishonored enough. What can we get even more dishonored?" And this game is a result. Um, it's pretty neat, if I do say so myself. Um, but who are these folks gonna play these assassins? It's kind of like just go to your table around the table and introduce yourselves, and basically just names, pronouns. If there's anything you want to plug, feel free, and kind of like what you're looking forward to in this game. I'm gonna go clockwise on my screen here, and first ask David, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is David. I use he, him pronouns. Excuse me. I am. My voice appears to have returned to normal again, which is nice. And I'm looking forward to. I think that kind of see if we can get that kind of Blades in the Dark type thing going in a slightly more compact kind of way. I'm looking forward to some proper skulking around in the darkness. I'm also really interested because, if memory serves, and it has been a little while since I read through the rules properly, but I think this has it's a kind of blackjack based system, isn't it? And I'm a sucker for a game with a blackjack based system in it because it's I love push your luck stuff in a game. So yeah.
I'm just remembering when I last ran this, and oh my god, they pushed her luck so much. Okay, how did we get out of that? Okay, so looking forward to seeing that again in action. Up next, Sabine, would you kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I will or have started to write a supplement for this that was in the Kickstarter, and it was a stretch goal, but I'm not finished yet because life and the pandemic came across, and I did not have much energy left, but I will. This is still going to happen. So I think I read the rules pretty closely and then forgot all about it again. So sorry.
No worries. We'll go through the rules for sure once we kind of get into play. No need to have pre-read anything beforehand. Dono, you're up next. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And yeah, I mean, I guess this is a quite a nice intersection for me. Always enjoy Ollie's games, and quite a big fan of Blades in the Dark from way back when as well. And yeah, I think I'm looking forward to some, the devilry in this looks quite enticing, having run a cult Blades in the Dark campaign myself. So yeah, let's get into trouble and push our luck.
God, man, I've not seen a cult in action. I should pitch that to some folks next time. That's my own bullshit. Last but not least, Aiko, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Micah. You see him. I'm in Germany, in Berlin. I backed this as well. This is the problem. If you hold something up, it just disappears in your background. So there it is. Backed this as well. I paged through it. Never really read the rules. I'm excited to play it. Haven't played Blades in the Dark, and frankly, haven't played Dishonored yet. So I hope I'm prepared enough. I have nothing important to plug. Oh yes, maybe there for anyone who's able to speak German, who's watching this. I just 2 days ago I finished the German translation of Brindlewood Bay, so that's going to happen pretty soon. Yeah, that's it. Looking forward to this game.
Hell yeah. I should introduce myself as well. Hi, my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns. I don't have anything to plug. Oh, there is something. Oh, wow. There is something I did want to plug. I don't have the appropriate links. Actually, I do. There's a server I'm a part of called Roll Plus Bond that just put out a games bundle in aid of the Trans Mutual Aid in Manchester. I'll put up a link down below. It's like 44 games for $20. It's got some really cool stuff, including a game about being fey and doing crimes. Strange enough, it's called Be Fey, Do Crimes. Imagine that. And all sorts of other games there. That's one to shout out because that's the one I actually played. I'll put a link down below for folks to check out. It's open. It's up from this Friday till next Friday, and it's part of a lovely cause. Okay, so before we kind of like jump into Night Rain, let's talk about safety first. First off, we did our lines and veils off screen. For those who don't know, lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in fiction, and veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna like concentrate on it. Like it happens off screen or it gets a sentence or two, and there's stuff that are asked first, which are basically if they're marked like that before we kind of introduce them into the fiction, we'll make sure to talk to the table first about them. There's also a script change, which is what we're using. It's like a series of commands that kind of lets us help modulate the fiction a bit. There's like 3 commands I want to point out. The first one is rewind, which is you call for when you want to back up to a specific point in the scene, or do a scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. Could be any issue, like a name, the tone of the scene, or just the scene itself. And you don't have to explain what the issue is. You will just basically respect that and rewind, try something else. There's fast forward, where you call for that if you want to fade to black. Advanced time is needed to avoid content elements of play, or just move forward in time. It's kind of part of the veils thing that something's going to happen. We'll move forward. We're not going to linger on it. Like gets a sentence or two. And there's pause, which you call for a variety of reasons. Maybe if you need a break from like just an intense scene, or if you want some clarity or discussion about the game or the content, or if you need to take a bio break. It's kind of part of the open door policy that we use here in the Gauntlet, where basically if you feel the need to step away from the table for any reason, and any reason is perfectly fine. Could be you're more tired than you thought, could be that you have an emergency to take care of, or you need to take a bio break, call for a pause, and we'll accommodate yourselves. Okay, so what is the general pitch of Night Rain? So Night Rain is set in the port city of Laefendport, otherwise known to the locals as Liar's Port. It's just this backward provincial port town. It's all good. In fact, well, it's not really good because it's also beset by this by what's called the Night Rain. Rain as in the bit that falls down from the sky. This mutagenic black sludge of a liquid that just basically deforms flora and fauna, and it makes life hard there. Now that's why nobody ever really goes to Laefendport until some rather smart blokes managed to create an alchemical process to turn the night rain into, well, a source of energy, source of fuel, combustible. Suddenly, you got oil basically falling from the sky, and it basically made Liarsport into a bit more worth looking at. And this led to, a great revolution of industry and science and whatnot. It led to a bunch of noble families basically becoming businesses, businesses becoming dynasties. Um, and but still, those big noble families still had to pay respects to House Wilderose, which is the royal house, until, well, those noble houses were like, fuck that, and decided to massacre House Wilderose, right down to almost every single family member. And these noble houses have basically come together and basically have decided to rule Laefendport and the rest of this empire. So begins the Night Reign. Reign as in with EIGN now. You are members of the Red Right Hand, or the Right Hand. You were servitors or servants or soldiers of House Wilderose, and you are basically are now members of a conspiracy to, if not bring back Wilderose, then avenge them for sure, and make sure these noble families don't continue on, profiting and imposing their reign upon folks. What makes the Right Hand special in some ways is that not only are you like skilled in skulduggery and thieving and killing and assassinating and whatnot, you also have access to a wee bit of magic. You have access to the magic of the sisters, the devilries, so to speak, and you can do some rather fantastical things, often at a cost. So that's kind of like that's kind of like the gist of why y'all are doing what you're doing. So yeah, let's go to character creation. There's a tab there. We're gonna go through it one by one, well, step by step, but the steps are all right there. As it says there, members of the Red Hand or the Right Hand or the Red Right Hand, depending on how Nick Cavey you're feeling at this time of day. And yeah, is right there. First, pick your name, pronouns, and appearance. I will say technology in the Night Reign is roughly around, late 19th to early 20th century, that turn of the century, not the most recent turn of the century. So, but imagine like everything is like powered and refined by Night Reign, there's like this weird alchemical process. So imagine like if gunpowder and explosives are like powered by small capsules of liquid instead of gunpowder. That's the kind of thing. It's kind of like the Visage. There are some primitive automobiles. Basically, everything's powered by rain. Just imagine that. So yeah, first pick your name, pronouns, and appearance. Some mechanical implications, but what kind of character can you be if you don't have a name? Well, many things, I suppose. So name, character, pronouns, and appearance. Names in the setting, takes inspiration from, Old English, German, Russian names. Like there's a guy here named, what's the name? Friedrich Eisenhardt. He's the guy who turned the Night Rain into oil and fuel and whatnot. There's yeah. Oh yeah, he's still alive. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking at the book. It's like, oh, he's still alive. Oh, that's cool to know. There is a Natalia de Siracraft. She's the head engineer, tinkerer. Basically a bunch of stuff there. So there are some stuff that like we're not gonna like cover, like because there's only one shot. Like we're not gonna do like some the more city stuff. Like the city phase, we are just going to jump into an incursion and play through that. Next, pick up your cover identities. These are false roles you took to escape the noble's wrath, and the character creation should have the pages in the PDF. Is that right? In the because I just realized that all of us have the physical copies, but the tab here is imagines you have the PDF, as in the spreads version at that. So maybe disregard the page numbers. Yeah, definitely do. I just looked at the book. That's definitely not the right page. There we go. Page 28 is where cover identities are. On Rent Your Own. Each identity provides a free talent dot in a network of connections. That's kind of like the important part with picking a cover identity. And yeah, there's like a list on page 28 in the book. And then once you kind of pick your cover identities, you're going to choose your talents. These say what your character is good at and can provide mechanical bonuses when marked. You have 13 talent dots to distribute. And basically, and each talent can have a total of 3 like dots. Those are like what the boxes that don't have check marks kind of like signify. Basically, how many times you have a dot, it basically marks the number of times you can mark that talent. You have 13 that you just get, and you have a free talent dot from each cover identity you pick. So we should have 15 total. Also, just a note, for every point you have in a devilry talent, you can choose a prayer from that devilry's list. Prayers are your magic spells, your weirdo, creepy abilities that you don't really pray to the sisters. You mostly steal from them and hope they don't notice. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. We just hope they won't notice.
We pick 2 cover identities, right?
Yes.
All right.
And again, if folks have questions, if I'm going too fast, feel free to like pause me and make sure to like, it's part of the pausing we were talking about. Just
If it says bonus talent, any one devilry talent from the Brosnat sisters, where do I find the talent list for the Brosnat sisters?
give me a second. Because if you go to the page of the Book of Sisters, it doesn't say, because you have to keep going a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Prayers are start at page 36. And let's see. The Brosnan sisters. So basically any of the talents that are devilry talents.
It's okay. A few pages before that it's like 32, I think, onwards is where the sisters are.
Oh, yes. Yeah, 32. Yes. It says here, like, the Brosnet sisters, there's the sister Lady of Absence, Pestilence, and Clocks. So basically, you can have an extra talent on either of those 3.
Oh, great. Yeah, Absence, Pestilence, Clocks. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so for each cover identity, we get 1 free talent point,
Yes.
and on top of that, 13 talent points.
Yes.
However we wish, wherever we. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Oh, I should say, because the formatting is weird. Mark those talent dots on the boxes that don't have the check marks. The check marks are for when you mark those talents in play. That's my bad for formatting the sheet that way. I had to squint at that picture and was like, is that Jude Law? Oh, so it is. Is it not? Could have fooled me.
I don't think so. Let me check.
Maybe I'm thinking too hard about this. It doesn't matter if it's Jude Law or not. Wow, okay, you're really going in on this whole pestilence thing.
I'm not really sure what it means, but we'll see. We'll find out.
It means you get 3 prayers of pestilence to use in the game.
Okay, there will be a lot of pestilence in our game. But we should mention that because it was off screen, we put a line. We put COVID and pandemics behind the line. So I think of a pestilence that has nothing to do with that.
Oh, when I say prayers, I mean there are like literal like spells here, and you pick from that list. There's stuff that like some of the prayers here include, summon colony. You summon rats. Page 37 is what you'll be looking at. Some of them is like summon murder. You summon crows. There we go. You summon that murder. There is like a swarm form. Insect summon. There's a murder form where you turn into a murder of crows. So that's neat. So basically, that's what it means. For every point you put in a devilry talent, you get like a spell from that list of devilries under that talent. I'll say right now, devilries can be useful because when you use them, they're always worth a 10. So if you play blackjack, like even though like they're the face cards, they're kings, queens, and jacks. What actually matters is that they're all worth a 10 when you use a devilry. So I'm just saying, maybe it might be worth it stealing from the sisters. That's not to say you can't use any of the devilries that you don't have. You will have to sell your soul.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, selling your soul has more ramifications for campaign play. So you wanna, like, I'm just saying that's an option. Hmm.
Can I sell somebody else's soul? Just hypothetically, of course.
The thing is, like, you don't have ownership over anyone's soul but your own, so you can't really make that bargain. You know what? It's up to the sister. Yeah, because you're gonna have to talk to them if you want to sell your soul. So it's up to them on what they want.
I think I'm better at intimidating people than I am at charming people. So okay, intimidating a sister might be tricky.
So by the end of it, you should have 15 points in total. If you have any points in devilry, make sure to pick out prayer corresponding to that devilry. The last thing you'll need to do is create equipment. Define 5 pieces of equipment your character has. They don't need more than just a name and a single line of description, like left-handed rapier, a favorite that's seen me through many battles. The main thing the equipment does is they also help you when you're making your draws. You mark them to draw another card, and they give you narrative permission. Basically, if say you have points in pistol, but you don't have a pistol equipment, well, you can't really use that. Then those dots, those points you put in the pistol, if you don't have a pistol. That's kind of like the main gist of what narrative permission means in this game. For example, if one of your pieces of equipment is a rain-powered grappling hook, a grapnel that uses an explosive charge of night rain to shoot a grappling hook up, you could describe your character scaling a sheer wall when a character without one couldn't. Similarly, you can't use the sword talent when making a violence draw unless you have a sword to fight with. You'll have to be able to just summon murder. Just, you know, come at come at me, murder. Excuse me. I should keep myself muted. I should also say the 5 pieces of equipment you've defined, they're kind of like what you have access to and can use, but you're not obligated to take them all with you on every incursion. In fact, the more you take with you, the more you're kind of more suspicious. Hence why there's that extra box where you'll mark that as a start incursion just to say, oh, this is what I brought to this. Don't worry, I'll explain what the incursion is again, as in the adventure. We are playing, although you can read ahead at page 42 to see that. Surprise, surprise, it involves killing someone. Looks like folks are nearly done. Maybe like another minute. Okay, why don't we go right to left just to mix things up on the character keepers, introduce these characters, and then we'll probably take our first break. So, Aika, why don't you start us off? Tell us about, our good doctor here.
Yes, it is not. It's not modeled on Abraham van Helsing, by no means. So he is, there he is, yes, Dr. Gerd van der Rijn, or Van der Rijn, you can pronounce him probably in any way you like. He is used to his name being mispronounced all the time. Here he goes as Van der Rijn. His cover identities are that he poses as an alchemist and as a death cultist. Not sure how open he is about that. However, so he is the go-to guy if you want to have any product made, pharmaceutical, medical, whatever, and more sinister products included. And if we scroll down a little, so we see that he's obviously very good at creating poison. And I have an impression that in Laefendport, poison is something people might want to use every now and then.
There's an entire talent all about poison, so assume.
Exactly. Charm, he's very charming. So, and also, yeah, well, he's not very violent, as you can see. So, I hope he's not getting into any physical conflict. But he knows a lot about pestilence. So, if you probably that's from his background as a death cultist. Whatever that means, I'm still trying to figure that out. But he knows everything about pestilence. Yes, what a friendly guy he is.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the ritual dagger, the old king's dueling pistol. I'm pretty sure he's not wearing that openly. Every time he's always seen with an Erlenmeyer flask. He has a vial of black poison, steam distilled night rain, his own recipe, by the way, and a smoke bomb. I'm not sure why he needs that, but we'll find out. Yeah, that's Dr. Gerd van der Rijn.
Yeah. Who can summon murder, which we'll not explain until we see it on screen. But you can probably guess. Thanks very much, Aika. Cool. Sabine, why don't you introduce us to Sarn?
Yeah, well, I'm going to play Sarn. Use she, her pronouns. Sarn has two cover identities. One is an actress, Selma Kern, not very famous, but at least some people might have known of her. And Jessica the Snake, a known pugilist. That's probably more famous because she is actually not very big and not very tall, but and not very massive, but she's fast. And that's what she's known for. And she is pretty good with the dagger. She's also pretty good at intimidating people because she's so small and people don't expect all that violence coming from such a small person. She has a finely wrought dagger that once belonged to a prince that she calls the youngest of what she will not tell you. She has a tumbler's cloak that she uses in her performances as an actress normally, a set of face paint, 3 throwing daggers named for the sisters, and these are the Rhine pieces. They're are rumored to be the brass nest pieces for the other triad of sisters, but she doesn't have them. And also she has a simple rope because you can never go wrong with having a simple rope. There are so many things you can use it for. And also she maybe has stolen a prayer that allows her to slow time, but that's surely just a myth, right? Nobody would steal something from the sisters. That would be madness.
No, you wouldn't want that kind of attention, especially when you're meant to be working undercover or in the down low. Good luck to Sarn, though. I'm sure she'll get to some stabbings. When we get there. Up next, someone who might help her with the stabbings. David, tell us about. Oh God, that's a pretty boy. Lefric.
Yeah, sure thing. Lefric Gold was, I think, just like a page in the household when it was dissolved. He has since then grown up on the streets in your sort of classic Oliver Twist style, but slightly less whimsical. He's a thief maker and a smuggler. He's that kind of artful dodger type role, recruiting and training other younger kids off the street to steal and otherwise profit off of the more well-to-do in society. He is primarily, he's a sort of sneak thief, pickpocket, quite good at getting around, remaining hidden, all that sort of thing. Quite personable, if manipulative, and you're used to relying on his smarts to get by. Is a dab hand with a blade, and can get by in a kind of grapple in a hand-to-hand fight. He has been touched by the sister of Absence and the Lost in his goings on, and can steal people's memories with the power that he's taken from her. The stuff he carries on him, he has a straight razor, which he purposefully keeps dulled with lamp black so it doesn't reflect the light. He usually has at least one or two purses or wallets that he's taken from somebody on the street, mostly out of habit than anything else. A crowbar for getting into places loudly, and an old skeleton key taken from some dead guard at some point, for being a bit more quiet about it. He also usually has some narcotics of some description on him that mostly he sells, but occasionally administers when somebody needs to take a brief nap.
Well, I'm glad you have an option for a brief nap and a permanent one. Should whatever needs they may have. We'll see if any of your enemies will be napping tonight. Last but not the least, don't know. Why don't you introduce too? Did you ever figure out if that's Jude Law or not?
It's not Jude Law.
Okay, good. My eyes be deceiving me then.
So yes, I'm playing Peter, whose cover identities are a gentlefolk thief and a guard. So I think perhaps he has remained to infiltrate one of those dastardly noble houses who overthrew ours, and in the meantime is quite happy to infiltrate their parties to steal their stuff. So relatively good at getting in to places in terms of breaking locks and such. Moderately useful at being sociable, a good spread in the in seeming like where he is meant to be and intimidating the people who do not believe him. And then in terms of violence, I don't know if Aika's character summons murder, maybe it will be Peter, handy with a sword and a rifle, and nifty enough with his fists. And I too have seen to put myself into truck with the Sister of Absence. But instead of stealing memories, I will merely be stealing myself, which the description of which seems useful and terrible all at the same time. So I guess that will be terribly useful. The equipment I've taken is a pirate saber. One of the other noble houses is engaged in a lot of piracy, so it sets him off as maybe one of them, or at least working for one of them. He has a nice leather jacket with lots of pockets on the inside. I mean, which would never be used for anything illegitimate or anything like that. An old but reliable rifle, a hip flask full of whiskey, and a entirely forged letter, which is still sealed. No names, only initials in the details, but guaranteed to cause gossip.
We'll see if that letter is going to be open. I mean, if we give a letter there, it has to be opened. Well, you never know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
I think it's Chekhov's letter, is it? Introduced in Act 1, must be opened in Act 3.
Yeah, it has to go off. It's got to be explosive. All right, cool. So this seems like a fun bunch of characters. Let's see what they get up to in the incursion to bring you my love. But we'll get to that after we take a break. So let's take 10. Or maybe 11, come back at 40 past the hour, and then we'll set you all on the path to assassinating the Lord-Wordsmith. So I will see you then. Okay, so let me read out the incursion that we're doing here tonight, which is the one that comes with this very nice zine. Shout outs again to the designer, to Ollie Jeffrey, at Sinister Beard Games. You might remember them from such games as Cruel and Unusual, a game about terrible people doing terrible things, and Quietus, a Forge in the Dark-like game of horror and intrigue, and mostly horror and stress and horror. It's a fine time to be had. So, as mentioned, the objective of this incursion is assassination. The head of House Foreyda and the mastermind behind the massacre of your masters, House Wilderose, the Lord-Wordsmith Logan de Foreyda, is rarely seen in public, mainly because, turns out masterminding the genocide of an entire other noble family kind of makes you enemies. It's kind of a it's not something you do. So he's quite aware that the conspiracy that is the Red Hand is against him and is looking for him. He changes locations frequently. It's hard to see. It's really just hard to know where he is. He's never without his bodyguard as well, which is tricky because his bodyguard happens to be an ex-member of the Red Hand who knows your secrets, happens to be one of the deadliest women on the continent. Oops. Fortunately, though, there's an opportunity. His daughter, Natalia de Foreyda, is to be married tomorrow night to the heir of House Eisenhart. House Eisenhart stems from the bloke who invented the whole night reign process, and that's kind of their motif. All the noble families have their motifs. There's a noble family that are pirates. There are a noble family that are like nerd engineers. House Eisenhart are the alchemists. Well, House Foreyda are the traders. They're negotiators, deal makers, and liars. They're the business folk. Logan doesn't really care for his daughter's happiness. The important part is that arranged marriage, maybe access to that alchemical process. That could be important. But Foreyda tradition does dictate that all marriages take place at Fort Leodruhn on an island off the coast of Laefendport. And tonight there will be a great feast there before the Eisenharts arrive for the wedding tomorrow. Tonight, you lot can strike. So the objective is to assassinate the Lord-Wordsmith Logan de Foreyda. So maybe first explain kind of like how incursions work. Incursions come in the form of sets. They vary depending on the incursion. Usually the minimum is like 3 sets. I'll write down his name. Hold on. And your job is kind of like to go through each set and and get to the end. And to get through the sets, you'll accumulate shadow tokens. To accumulate shadow tokens, you will need to just be stealthy and complete activities, mostly through stealth. If stealth goes wrong, you try to complete activities through guile or violence. Usually violence is kind of like almost a last resort, but that doesn't mean you can't leap straight into violence, but we usually start with stealth. Let me describe set 1, and then I'll let you describe how you get into this set. So set 1 is the warehouse district. A boat has been hidden for you in the warehouse district of Laefendport, an area ruled by the brutal Tillycan gang. The boat is there to provide you with passage to the island. Problem is the warehouse district is kind of dangerous to be at night. And sadly, this feast is happening at night, so you can't really wait for the day because the Tillycans have been paid by House Foreyda to, provide some extra security along the shoreline this evening to stop people like you. Sadly, you are your people, and they're kind of like been paid to stop you. Launching a boat from the main dock some miles down the shore is not really possible because there's increased police presence because there's a wedding feast going on. So you're gonna have to go to the shipping docks at the warehouse. So you can't just like take a boat and go off to the shoreline. You have to get to the warehouse district. So there is a boat waiting for you there. There's a dock worker who's planted a boat for you to get to it. So you can get to it and get from there to Leodruhn Island. If you can reach it without being noticed. So each set also has a goal. And so everything you're kind of like doing while you're in that set, you're headed towards that goal. And the goal for this set is to make your way through the warehouse district to a small boat hidden in the docks. They'll take you to Leodruhn Island. So I'm going to ask each of you to describe how you make your way to the warehouse district, either whether together or alone. And I'm going to add some color every time for each of your descriptions. And again, Laefendport is kind of like, it's nebulous, but it's a quasi-Edwardian metropolis. If I remember correctly, that's the period of time after Victorian. It's that weird period between Victorian times and World War I, is what I'm guessing. What I think it is. So that's the vibe of Laefendport, for sure. So there are kind of like street lights powered by night rain. There are primitive automobiles powered by night rain. And I'll give you one detail about this kind of warehouse district. The night rain, as in the rain, is full on pouring. It's leaving the streets and the roofs stained and slippery. No one wants to look up at the sky. Everyone's kind of like scowling and looking downwards because you don't want that oily, horrible rain in your eyes. So yeah, if everyone has an idea of how they're kind of like making their way to the warehouse district, feel free to shout out.
Is there some kind of people aren't working right or loading up during the nighttime? So maybe there's canals because very on message for in Blades in the Dark style place for there to be canals. And I think they're all locked up at night. So there's canal gates to stop people just walking along the side of the canals at every lock. And I think maybe we've identified that as the best way to get in without being identified as security, or by security rather.
Yeah, I think what I kind of want, that's a cool idea. Now this warehouse now has canals. I do want to see what your character is like doing, like getting to this warehouse district. Kind of like just a quick snapshot of them before like they get to the job.
Yeah, so I think maybe we see Peter drinking in a docker's bar, talking to some of the people who just come off shift, and figuring out, you know, who's on security and what type of mood they're in and that kind of stuff, trying to get the lay of the land before they go in.
Yes, I will say the detail that place is called the Last Drop Inn, so named because there's a gallows in the courtyard. Don't know what that's doing there.
Stay classy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I think we see a kind of group of street urchin types, including Lefric. You know, sort of just like wandering up to sort of the you know, one of these warehouses, and I think, like, you know, they start kind of just like gathering around the warehouse, playing some sort of game involving throwing stones into a circle that's been, you know, traced out on the side of the road, and generally just kind of playing about and looking like a bunch of kids up to no good. Also clearly like casing this warehouse. We sort of see I think like a couple of sort of these heavies who are patrolling the thing come up and like shout at them to you know, clear off. One of the kids like throws a rock or something that hits one of them, and the two sort of heavies charge after them. All the kids sort of split off with the heavies sort of running after them, and Lefric is still just like leaning against the wall of that warehouse, and as these two walk, he just sort of walks around the corner and carries on down the street.
Yeah, I think the detail I want to add there is like when you kind of like round the corner, you'll see there's like more kids. They're not part of the group that you just paid off, but you'll see that like they're kind of like being given candies and coins by some of the less brutish heavies, so to speak.
Cool.
What about Sarn or the good doctor?
I think Sarn is basically just making her way in her cloak, hood drawn into her face, keeping to the shadows of the warehouses, walls, staying mostly hidden from sight. At one point you can see one of these weird mutated rats that grow so large in the warehouse district that kind of rears up when she steps too close and hisses at her, and then you hear a short whoosh like of a blade flying, and then there's a little tiny and the figure in the cloak picks up the dagger that was thrown at this mutated rat and cleans it off on the cloak, and just skulks further into the warehouse district, avoiding one of the more of these ruffians patrols. They are not very disciplined, and they're not very alert to their surroundings there. They're just looking for obvious, and obvious Sarn isn't. Not here, not now.
The detail I want to add to that is like, I think you hear the scurry, another screaming from a rat, but it's joined by like a chorus of scurrying and screaming, and you see like just ambling out, kind of like covering this alleyway is like, well, it's not one rat, it's like 15 rats. Well, it's more of a rat king, really. Their tails kind of like intertwine with each other thanks to this damnable night rain. They're kind of like they're trying to like go, they're each trying to go in their own direction. They're all kind of like spinning in place, twitching and spinning in circles, trying to claw and bite at each other.
Yeah, that's almost poetic.
And finding a good doctor.
Yeah, so he never gets his hands dirty, so he just appears at the warehouse district. He's greeted by a tall woman who asks him or whispers to him, "Did you bring it, doctor?" And he produces from under his coat the ritual dagger and says, "But first, you have to help me through the district." And she is at home here, and she knows every dark corner and guides the doctor through the district. And when they finally reach their destination, he produces the dagger again, and he cuts her arm. And as it is a ritual dagger, and he is the leader of a death cult, he tells the story that this dagger has killed mighty monarchs, and whoever is injured by it gets some kind of supernatural connection to these powerful monarchs. And immediately her eyes turn white and she begins to smile. Whether it's the effect of the dagger or something he put on the dagger, as he's also an alchemist, we don't know. But she seems very, very happy all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think you watch her kind of like wander off, quite happy, quite ebullient, shouting the good name of the monarchs of the kings of old, which is a problem because they've just been that family's just been wiped out, and the guards are watching her. They've not seen you because it's bloody awful raining, but they're kind of like keeping a close eye on her as she's kind of like almost drunk, like staggers off towards the last drop in. Okay, so you're now in the warehouse district. What we're going into is we're starting off with stealth. That's kind of like your main bread and butter when you're starting off an incursion. Well, the main thing you want to do is to get shadow tokens, because that's what lets you accomplish a set's goal. And it's all in one pool. You don't have like individual shadow tokens. Whenever you generate one, you generate for all. You're all a unit. You might not be together, but you all work together. You're going to need at least a minimum of 3 shadow tokens to accomplish a set's goal. And yeah, basically when you enter or press further to an area you are forbidden in pursuit of your goal, that's when we make a stealth draw. Describe how you're infiltrating the environment through stealth, and then we'll get to it. So I guess I should ask, since y'all had pretty unique ways of getting to the district, do you have like a meetup spot, or are y'all just kind of like, we're just gonna work, or we're gonna go our own way, and we're all just gonna make it to the warehouse? Not to say you can't show up to like help each other, although I'm not sure. I don't think this game has an aid mechanic, except during violence, which it says a lot. But yeah, do you all have like a meetup spot here in the warehouse district, or are you all just kind of like going about your business? Because no one's gonna be left behind if like the goal of the set is completed, you know.
I think Sarm would rather go alone, because going in a group and being stealthy, that's kind of contradictory, right? Because groups of people are more seen than groups of than single people.
Yeah, I can see our sort of our kind of meetup point being maybe at the boat or nearby to where the boat is, something like that.
Yeah. Is that okay with Dr. Gert and Peter?
Yes. I find the others useful, but it's also useful not to have them around too often. So.
Hey, all right. Let's go back to Peter. Then I want to know, how are you entering or pressing further? into the area. So you kind of described it like, yeah, you're in the last drop in. You're kind of like chatting with some folks. I'll tell you right now, you know that like this inn is run by the Tilican gang. A bunch of heavies there. But yeah, what are you up to?
Yeah, I think after having gotten the lay of the land in terms of who is patrolling that night, I'll pick my route in. And yeah, I think maybe I'll go back to that original idea of the canal lock gates.
Mm-hmm.
Not a main street or a main path through the district, just something that's not in use at night.
So all right. So you're pressing further into area you shouldn't have because again, these canals are patrolled. You're not meant to be there. You don't have a boat. Well, you don't have a canal boat. The main thing is to get to a boat. So yeah, you're making a stealth draw. So let's turn to the playing cards room. In fact, I'm going to show this to folks watching. Voila. Anyone who's watching, don't mind the spinny thing. That's just there for fun. Rolled a 12. First, you're going to draw 2 cards from the royal deck, which is the big red one here. Draw them out into the open.
Okay. A 9 of diamonds and a 4 of clubs.
Can you? I don't see them on the table.
They're out there.
Huh. Oh, that's weird. Why can I not see them?
So I don't know.
Yeah, they're not showing up for me. I don't know why. Are they in your hand? Because
they're not in my hand.
Huh. Can everyone else see them?
No, I can't see them either.
Oh, that's weird.
Am I in the same? Yeah, I'm in the same.
No, me neither.
The one thing I'll note is I don't see an opposition counter like you do. So I don't know.
Oh, that's weird. That is really weird.
Refresh the.
Yeah, maybe. Because I did add that later. Let me refresh this.
Okay, I see the opposition. Let me draw again, so.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, wow.
Hearts. Okay.
Okay, so if you have a useful talent or piece of equipment, you may mark it to discard a card from your initial hand. If you're saying, you don't want either of these 8s, I don't know why you would. You can mark a talent or an equipment that's relevant to the situation to discard one of them. Do you want to do that or you want to keep that? Because
Leandro, can you please just quickly explain what we would be looking for here?
Oh, yes. So we're playing with blackjack rules. You want to get to as close to 21 because there's like a table here. As close to 21 as possible. But if you go over 21, you bust out basically, and you get like the worst result. There's like a table on page 10 of the thing. I'll put it in the character creation tab in a minute. But basically, you're gonna keep drawing until either you stop or you reach 5 cards without having reached 21, or the total value of your hand is exactly 21, or the total value of your hand is more than 21. The best result is either to get exactly 21 or 5 cards, which is called a 5-card trick. So Peter, do you want to discard any of these or want to keep going?
So none of those options were stick, right?
No. You can still keep going.
There's results tabulated for everything, right? But I still have to go.
Yeah. You can still go. Like right now you have 16. There's definitely a result there.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna choose to accept my current total, right?
Okay. So you don't want to draw?
No, I played blackjack before.
Okay. So on a 12 to 17.
Just a quick question. So if Peter decides to would decide to draw another card and goes over 21, he can still discard a card by using an item, right?
No, that's only at the start.
All right. Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, you can only do it at the start to discard a card from your initial hand. So if you keep drawing, you can't mark a talent to like discard any of them. Cool. So I can keep it at 16. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm playing like the house, right? I'm gonna be
okay.
At 16.
Fine. On the 12 to 17, the way forward is blocked, but you have the drop on them. So you're gonna take a shadow token, add one there, but you will encounter light opposition as described at GM. So you're skulking kind of like down these like canals, and I think you are going to you're kind of like you rounding around the corner, then you see whoosh, big dirty spotlight, a searchlight, kind of like start roaming towards like the canal. The thing is, like, you're on a bend, so you can see it like searching down the bend of this canal. So you kind of see it before they catch you, basically. And I'm perfectly fine if like other characters want to like show up to help Peter, because like, you know, you described kind of like how you got in. But that's kind of like the opposition. And it's light. It's just a searchlight. From where you are, you can't really see where the searchlight is coming from. Well, because you're on a bend. If you kind of round the bend, you'll see where it is. But that's your opposition for the moment. And again, I'm perfectly fine if like other characters want to like say, hey, I'm also in this canal. If not, I might cut away from you for the moment. Unless you have an idea of how to get through this.
I mean, my options are right to maybe lean on some guile, right?
Yes. Yeah. When opposition shows up, like in this case, you can either choose to overcome it with guile or violence. Guile is basically not violence. That's literally how it's defined. Not open violence. Which is basically, you know, and it could be like, you know, sneaking around or charming someone and talking to someone. Basically anything doesn't involve beating the crap out of them in open public. It can also mean sneaking up to them and slitting their throat. So basically anything that's not open violence comes under guile. Okay. So go ahead.
So I was just about to say, unless someone else wants to jump in, I think maybe I will rely on my, you know, confidence to act as if I belong here, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. So, all right, hold on. These go to the discard pile. Let's move this. Okay. So, overcoming guile. Oh, see, we're seeing all the different stages here. Just nice. Overcoming guile is a bit different. First, you have to spend shadow tokens equal to the higher of either your flame tokens or the chaos track, which is 0. So you don't have to spend your earned shadow token. Yeah, you've told me what you're hoping to achieve. What could go wrong? Well, they could clearly see you don't belong here, and might take action. So the opposition is light, so they have 1 token. And once you pay the necessary shadow tokens, describe what you're attempting to do, which we've done. I'll judge the risk level of this action. So a bit of that Blades action here. So it can either be restrained, risky, or reckless. I'm going to say this is a bit risky because you're kind of like, you're hoping that they'll accept that you're part of this this setting. I'm going to say it's risky. So what that means is I'm going to draw 2 cards from my deck. Pop and pop. And you get to see one of them. One face up, one face down. A successful risky action can remove 2 opposition tokens. So if you succeed at this, it's good. But it'll hurt. Yeah, you don't get to see what the other one is. Actually, let me see. Okay. What is that other one? Your job is to beat both those cards.
Okay.
First, draw 2 cards.
Okay. And do I show them to you?
Yes.
I guess
Yeah,
I
we
do.
showed them for
Okay.
everyone. Okay. Do you want to mark a talent or equipment to discard one of them?
I think I do.
Okay.
I do indeed. I think I will mark confidence.
Okay.
So that's the tick boxes on the
Yes.
character view, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I guess I discard the 3, right? Because that's doing me no good.
Whichever one you want. You want to discard the 6? I'm not going to stop you. Yeah, and then put in another card.
Okay. Oh my god.
Wow. All right. So, all right. So it's same as stealth. You can keep drawing until you get a 5 card trick or get to 21, or if you stop. Yeah. So
I guess I'm going to keep drawing, right?
Okay. All right. Okay.
I really should have gotten rid of the 6. Then I could have got to a 5 card.
All right. As a reminder, well, might as well. Before you flip that, if you want to keep that as a reminder, if you have a devilry prayer, if you can find a way to figure that out, to put that in, you can draw from this lovely nun deck here. All of those cards count as a 10. But you need to, but every time you draw from that, you have to mark a devilry talent. And
Okay.
if you don't have that many devilry talents, yeah, you won't be much use. You can't use that much.
I will save that for later.
Okay.
Okay. So I've drawn this one. I'm going to flip it. Okay. That's
16.
16.
Do you want to keep going?
So, I mean, you have a possible 15 in there, right? So I think 16 is good.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because it also counts as a 10. Yeah. So you beat it by 1. You beat. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, with Guile, you don't have to get to 21 rounds, and you just have to beat my hand. You succeed without a cost. Oh wait. If your hand is equal to or higher than GM's, you succeed, but with a fictional complication, cost, or choice. Okay, cool. Okay, I think what this looks like. Well, how is your demeanor? What does it look like when you're strolling down this canal and the searchlight will kind of see you?
Yeah, so I think I put my arm up over my eyes, because it's bloody annoying, right? And I wave them away. And then when I get into shouting distance, I say something like, we have to drive away those bloody kids again. I'm, referring to Leofric's gang of ruffians. And I'll shake my head like this happens every other day. We're constantly dealing with them pilfering. And just give a shrug and keep walking as if I know where I'm going. I mean, I do know where I'm going, obviously.
Yeah. I think since you keep walking, you just hear a disgruntled "Oi!" And thank God you've spared me for having to do an accent. But I think kind of as you're kind of walking, you can see that a bunch of other gangs are the other gang members are turning on their own searchlights. And you can see that the warehouse district is kind of coming to life a bit. So you got through the opposition, which is good. But I'm going to add a flame token. So that flame token basically means the heat is going up. And that becomes tricky because whenever you do guile, you're going to have to spend a shadow token equal to that flame token. You can avoid that by just going straight to violence. But yeah, I think that's what that looks like. So you're gonna be able to walk past, and you're getting close to we're just keep going through the canals. But yeah, the heat is up. So let's cut away from Peter for the moment. Unlike you, I get those cards back. Haha. Hold on, let me flip them back. Here we go. I get them back. Wahaha. Let's cut to let's cut away from Peter for the moment. let's cut to, since Lefric was mentioned, what are you up to, Lefric?
Yeah, I think that we just sort of see Lefric as kind of doing the classic walking, just walking down streets sort of quietly, keeping towards the shadows, keeping to the smaller streets, stopping to look around for guards as they patrol around, waiting for them to go past, slipping by, kind of moving from patch of shadow to patch of shadow, generally you're trying to skulk its way through the streets to the to where the boat is.
Oh yeah, so it sounds like a stealth draw. Why don't you draw me
Sure
2 cards?
Oops, I am trying to do that in the video window, which is not helpful.
Oops, sorry. Oh boy. Well, you could get a 5-card trick. You never know.
Indeed. I think I'm going to stick with those 2 actually, because replacing one of them isn't really going to do much for me. I might as well stick low and see what comes up next. Well,
wow.
So I am on 19. Yeah, sorry, I'm 9. So yeah, I'm going to go for another.
Wait, what? That's not meant to be there. Oh shit! Sorry, that's not meant to be there. That's meant to be
Right,
the other.
no
deck.
worries.
Disregard that. I'll just move that there.
Sure, no worries.
I need to edit that deck. You're on 12.
Oh, well, if there aren't supposed to be face cards in here, then go on. We'll do one more and see if we get the 10. Do I get anything for getting a 5-card trick and a 21? Or
No, that's not a 5-card trick. A 5-card trick is maximum of 5 cards under 21.
Yeah.
So, oh bother. Bad things happen when you go over 21. You've been spotted. You lose all shadow tokens and encounter.
Oh, sorry. I was my maths were wrong. So yeah, it's
yeah. That's like 6, 10, 12. Yeah, that's like. Is that 21?
That is a 21.
Oh, it is 21. Shit.
It is 21.
Yes, it is
yeah.
21, yeah.
That's what I was. I thought it was 22 for some reason. My maths was wrong. All right, never mind. You get that shadow token back. 21 or 5-card trick. Okay, no, you don't get extra. Sorry, my bad. I thought you were 1 over.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, wrong thing. It's like you were not there at all. Take a shadow token and place all currently discarded royal cards back into the deck. And that's good because something I forgot to mention is that if you run out of cards, you lose. That's kind of like a timer. So the main way to refresh it is to get a 21 or a 5-card trick. So thankfully you did. So I'm going to describe the opposition you would have faced, which I was going to stick at you. And you describe how you're going to gracefully bypass it. So I was just talking about, you hear like the horrible growling of what you recognize are like some rather angry dogs, angry hounds, just like a big horrible woofing. And you see that like there is like a pack of them that's kind of like leading these gang members. And how do you, Lefric, manage to like just slip by?
Yeah, so I think we see Lefric as he hears these dogs, he kind of shinnies up a drain pipe onto the top of one of the warehouses.
Did he freeze?
Yeah.
So sorry, I think my my mind just crapped out me for a moment. Yeah, so I think we see so Lefric climbs up a drain pipe onto onto the roofs of one of the warehouses, and as he does so, he reaches into the pocket of his coat and pulls out a sort of a twisted up paper bag, which he opens up, and he pulls a couple of aniseed balls out of this bag and drops them down into the sort of gutter near the base of this roof. And as he starts to sort of like very, very quietly. In fact, he just like stops moving on top of the roof for a moment. We see sort of one of the dogs kind of come over, sniff around a bit, and then recoil from the smell, and carry on walking down the street as he kind of then we see him just sort of like carefully crouching down, walking along the top of the rooftops as the guards go back on their way.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I just had to look at the deck again to see if there's any more face cards. Shouldn't be there. But yeah, Lefric, smooth as a criminal might be. Who's to say who said those words? Hell yeah. All right, let's cut to Sarn, who is also kind of skulking about, trying to avoid the rats, apparently.
Oh,
yeah.
What
are you up to?
Same. Just a shadow on a wall within a shadow of rain. Like nothing to see here. Really?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you're just a shadow. Who's to say what you are?
Exactly. I'm a method actor. I become the shadow in my mind. Let's see how that goes.
Well,
I'll draw 2 cards, right?
Yes. Draw 2 cards.
Okay, there's one, there's another, and I flip them, and it's a 12.
Ooh. So at the start, do you want to mark a useful talent or equipment to get rid of one of them?
Nah. I'm feeling confident here that I can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are no face cards, so there are only 10s in there, right?
Yeah. The highest would be a 10.
Yeah, so hopefully this one won't be a 10.
Oh, just imagine.
Oh, it is. Of course it is. Had to be. Nice.
Wow.
Yay.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, it's not, but yay.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's really not. So here's what happens. What I was gonna say. Oh my gosh! Wow. So, over 21, you've been spotted. Yeah. Lose all shadow. You are 1 away. Damn. You are 1 away.
Sorry.
Since I'm gonna say, you're gonna suffer heavy opposition. Aggressive, heavy opposition.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think let me look at the enemies here. And this is the point where, since the other 3 I kind of like managed to get away from their opposition, they can show up to like help. But I think you hear I think you're skulking down this alleyway when you hear like this kid shout out, "There's a stranger right there!" And behind you hear like a flare kind of like go off behind you and in front of you.
Oh, nice.
You are trapped in this like alleyway, and you can see like there are like these three gang members. You can kind of tell they're part of the Tillycan gang because they all wear these like really dumb hats. There's kind of like these faded like velvet kind of hats, which looks terrible in the rain as well. But they've got these like smocks, and I think you can tell from behind you there's also 3 other gang members, and you can see like the kids have kind of like run off. And the guy at the front, who has like the flare, kind of like smiles and kind of like says, Oh, I've seen you before, haven't I? I've seen you down at the old boardwalk theater. You were doing a turn on the boards, weren't you?
Well, I have one question. I have this slow time thing. Would this be an opportunity to do that? Because they can't move fast enough and I can, and the whole situation could be quite avoided. Is that something I might want to do?
Yeah, well, I would say normally, yeah, you can do that in either during guile or violence. The problem is that if you want to go to guile, you have to pay a shadow token. You have to pay the number of shadow tokens equal to your flame tokens. You have no shadow tokens, and there's one flame token. So you have to go straight into violence because he's not even going to let you respond. He's going to throw the flare in your face.
Oh, okay.
Didn't say anything. That's the aggressive, heavy opposition.
Okay.
Okay. So, does anyone want to come in to help? Sorry.
But you said I could do the ritual thing during the violence.
Yes, during the violence.
Right?
Yeah. I would say right now, because violence, you'll have a much easier time with another person with you. I'll just say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me double check. Using devilry during violence. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to help you, but violence is not really my thing, and guile costs us a shadow token, which we don't have. So,
I think I was about to say, given that we haven't seen our doctor on screen yet, it would be a good opportunity, but not his strong suit.
No, not really. Maybe he's lurking in the shadow and observing the entire scene, but not. He knows it's impossible for him to step in.
Well, we'll see a good doctor in a moment, but let's see how violence works so that folks can see it.
Sabine, do you want help?
Yeah, I would like to use the prayer actually, but I can't see how that. I'm trying to figure out how that works right now.
Don't worry, I'll explain it. But let's get to violence first, because that's also like a separate way to do things. So.
Oh, okay. So I cannot, because it says during a violence draw, so I have to do the violence draw before I can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd appreciate it if somebody might hit one of these guys or distract them at least.
Well, it could be both Lefric and Peter.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to jump in on this.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're going to violence. When you attempt to overcome opposition through open violence, the GM deals cards from the night deck equal to the opposition seen at hand. You have 3 opposition tokens. Heavy stuff. Just fun times. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. You don't get to see them. They're in my hand, but I have 3 cards.
I can see them.
Okay.
Can you see them?
You're sharing your
screen. For God's sake. I forgot. Yeah, you're sharing the screen. Mother. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to put those cards back in the deck and shuffle. And okay, all right. I
mean, we're using guile, right?
Yes, you're using guile.
Oh,
God,
we couldn't see anything. Yeah, no, really. We were just screen share it again.
Zoom, give it and you take it. All right, can't see them. There we go. I would say red cards represent offensive actions and black cards represent defensive actions. There is no concept of busting in a violent draw, so aces are always worth 11. Each player involved in the fight chooses which of their characters' violence talents they'll be using in the fight. Then you're going to draw a hand equal to their total rating in that talent. Don't worry if the talent has been marked or not during this incursion, only the total amount of dots. So what are you using to help you?
I'm using my dagger because, I mean, that's what it's there for, right? Means I get 3. Do I just draw them? Or
yes, just draw them.
And put them in the middle? Or do I draw them to my hand?
I'd say, because like the main thing is like you don't see what my cards are.
Okay.
You can draw them to your hand because it's gonna get cluttered if everyone jumps in.
Okay, and this one. Okay, and this one. Okay.
What about Peter and Lefric?
Yeah, I think I'm Well, all three of my fighting things are rated the same, but I'm going with the sword. So that's 2.
Okay. And Lefric.
Yeah, I am going to go for a using my dagger as well. So I'll be using 2. I might just have to bear with me a second. I'll see if I can. The playing cards.io site isn't loading up for me again, so I'm just going to try and see if my phone is any better on that front.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. You said, Saran, you want to use your slow time, right?
I think that might help put an end to this whole thing quickly.
Yeah. So how that works is that, instead of choosing from the raw deck, so I probably should have done this while you were drawing. You can, instead of taking one of those cards, hold on, let me double check, because it's either you take one from the other or you get an extra card. Let me double check. Violence.
Complicated.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated. Yeah, violence is a bit complicated. Mainly because
I mean, we can just straight up do violence, and that's better. Save the talent for some other time. But
yeah, you're still in the first set, so
yeah,
got 3
exactly.
people.
So yeah, let's be violent here.
Okay, cool. All right. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to act against one of you, and I'm going to describe basically what they're doing, and that's gonna tell you what card I'm gonna do. It's either black or red. Well, I threw a flare at Sarn's face. Well, one of them. So you can probably tell what color what that is.
Red, right?
Yeah. You're gonna play a card against this card, and see if it beats it, basically.
Okay. And do I have to do a red one or a black one, or can I choose?
You can choose.
Oh, I choose.
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah, it says here, if you don't wish to play a card from your hand, you can draw from the sister deck, and that's an immediate 10.
No, I want to do the card from my hand here, and I think this guy and I put this out there, right? And I want to use the highest possible card here, right?
You can. I will say that, like, if both cards are like red, you will get hit, but I will have to discard a card. There's differences depending on either you play a red or a black, or I play a black or a red, but we'll get to them if they show up. But the main thing is that you want to beat the card.
Okay, and if I use a black one and I beat you, then I wouldn't get injured or whatever.
Yeah, you wouldn't get injured, and I have to discard. And I have to Okay, all right. Let's play this. What you got?
Okay, got an ace.
Oh, that's good. You beat my card. So how do you avoid this flare? Okay, if both cards are red, both blows land. So you will get hit, but I will have to discard one of my cards. What does this look like?
I think he throws the flare at my face, and I kind of bat it aside with one of my arms, but it explodes, and thus I have a bit of scorched arm. But on the other hand, I have a dagger, and now this guard who threw the flare has the dagger in their throat, and they make weird noises that don't sound healthy, really. And then I'm beyond them at least a little, and my sleeve is still burning, still a little. But I mean, it's raining, so that's probably pretty painful, but it won't burn for long. What?
Yeah. Well, it's tricky. It's the night rain. So what you're gonna do? I think you get hit by the fire, so you are going to mark a part in your body track. So if you go down to that row 48, mark one of those next to body, and you're going to take a condition, singed by night flare. and that activates at some inopportune moments. Let's just say. Cool. So yeah, both cards are red, and I discard one of my cards. I should say you always know how many cards I have, and I have one card left in my hand, which is good. In that you need to get rid of my cards to defeat the opposition. Yeah, exactly. Now I have one. So either Peter or Lefric can like end this gang. Because I think the folks in front of Sarn are kind of like spooked out because she just killed their bloke. But I think you hear this unseen kid just yell, "She's got friends!" And the folks behind Sarn turn around to see Peter, who has a sword out.
Leandro, do you think with these guys who don't seem to be armed with much except, flares, is a sword an advantage or what?
Ooh. I would say actually the whole restrained risky stuff that only counts for guile draws. This is just straight up violence.
Yeah, but in violence is like is any kind of weapon an advantage over another? Or?
It lets you mark your talents to be able to use it. It gives you narrative permission. Basically, if you want to mark a talent to discard a card and bring in another card that you don't like, you'd have to have a sword to be able to do it. That's kind of like the main reason why you want to have points and have the equipment. Basically, yeah. Oh, did you freeze there? Oh no, you're there. Hold on. This 9, where's that? Oh yeah, that's the here. Oh, nope, that should be there. Yeah. So you're gonna go. I think they're gonna come at you. I think like I said, they mostly have flares, but I think one of them pulls out a brass knucks, and it's gonna march towards you. And they don't look like they're not gonna stand down from a fight.
So if I'm able to, I would like to mark my sword equipment to draw a new card and discard one.
Oh, I see what you see here when it's particularly advantageous. Sorry, I missed this paragraph. Oh, yes, absolutely. You can draw an extra card. So you've just done that. Yeah, so they're coming at you. One of them has pulled up brass knucks. The other is pulling out a second flare, and the third one has the flare that they lit. They're waving it in your face.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to drop those either by dint of actually dropping them or not having a hand attached to their arm anymore. So I'll play 9 of diamonds.
Wabam.
Or not.
Or well, no. The main thing is like you got rid of my last card, so you are gonna win. But you are gonna, if both cards are red, both blows land. When if they're both the same color, the number doesn't matter. It's only if they're different colors. So
you should see what I drew initially.
Okay, they were probably not great, weren't they?
They were. I mean, the contest is over, right? So I can show them to you.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh my god. Yeah, they're not fab. Yeah. So both blows are gonna land. So I love how this is described in the book. Player and GM should cooperatively describe this in the fiction. This is the guard stabs you part. But you are going to scatter the opposition. So what does this look like as you, Peter, by yourself, take on a guy with a brass knucks, a guy who's about to light a flare on your ass, and one who's already lit a flare?
Yeah. So I think, Peter like sweeps the sword to keep them away before like choosing one lucky personage to get the brunt of his attention. And, as he brings in the sword on top of him, he gets those brass knuckles in the ribs. And then another guy comes in with the flare, like using it like a dagger, right? And like hits him in the neck. And I think that just makes Peter like pissed off, right? And so the guy with the flare gets the basket hilt in the face. and then the third guy gets the blade again.
Oh yeah, I think that's enough to see that. And Lefric, I think from your vantage point, you can see that like that just kind of like breaks the crowd, and they just kind of like scatter in the rain, and they kind of just they manage to like go, and they like leave you in this alleyway. Peter, you're gonna have to mark body as well and take a condition. I think
go with broken rib or something like that.
Yeah, broken rib sounds fun. Well, in fiction, not.
I mean,
in general,
in real life, they are absolutely no fun.
Yes.
I mean, if you can sleep in an armchair and never laugh, you're fine.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, cool. So the three of you are kind of like in an alleyway. I'll give you like a moment to like take a breath. Just you're all together. Lefric, is there anything you do or say or notice as the gang kind of like leaves?
I think Lefric just kind of drops down from the rooftop he was on into the alleyway and says, "Well, that was a bit loud, but I guess we better make a move for it before more of them turn up."
I think Peter will take a look at Sarn and say, fucking hell, you don't need to walk in somewhere like you're entering the ring or going on stage every time,
I don't know what it is. It's star power. They're just drawn to me. I can't help that.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Let's see the good doctor. Now that things have calmed down. God, You're still in the warehouse district. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, we cut to the shadows, and he is in a squatting position in the shadows, and he is just petting a little rat. I mean, he has 3 points in pestilence, so he has this sort of affinity to rats. He's patting a rat and says, "Oh, my little friend, they all want to avoid you. See, that's what happens. They make so much noise. You know what, my little friend? You show me the way to that boat. Go, go, go. Show it to me. A discreet, shadowy way." And then I give the rat a kiss and let it lead me to the boat.
Hey, cool. That sounds like a stealth draw. Any cards you picked up, put them in a discard pile for our combatants there. But yeah.
Okay, let's see what my good friend, the rat, I just wait for you to discard. Okay, great.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You got an 8.
I think that's a good point, a good reason to mark one of my talents or equipment parts.
I can safely show the screen again.
I'm not sure. Maybe I use I have 1 point in hide, and maybe I just use that. So whenever the rat leads me to somewhere, I hide in the shadows, wait for it to continue. So I have a lot of times, because I'm still hearing 2 streets from here, I hear people fighting. So they haven't arrived at the boat yet. So I take my time and I hide. How do I mark this? I simply...
The checkbox.
Perfect. Excellent. And I can discard the 2. Discard pile and draw a new card, right?
Yes.
And here we go. Oh, excellent. I stop here, I think.
Yeah, 17 is good. Yeah. On a 17, the way forward is blocked, but you have to drop on them. So you take a shadow token and encounter some light opposition. So I think you follow the rat. The rat kind of like leads you away from the fighting, because I don't like that either. Who cares for that sort of thing? And I think you are kind of like at the warehouse, and you can see that like it's quite like I wouldn't say like heavily guarded, but like you can see that like there are some folks who are things are a bit lax. You can see like the guards are having like they're chatting and they're having a meal. Just kind of like, just wondering about. They're just having a meal. Don't know what you're gonna do with that meal. Before we do that, let's take a break. Let's take a break now before we see the good doctor do their good business. That's okay. Let's take a quick 5. Actually, no, let's take 7. Let's come back at 10 to the top of the hour.
Yep.
Okay, so Dr. Gert van der Ren. You've got some rather lax gang members who are just having around shooting the shit, eating some, trying to eat as much. Like they're kind of like at the small like shed in front of the warehouse. They're having like a meal. It's still raining. It's still shitty out there. What are you up to?
Usually I would just poison them, but knowing the mechanics of the game and translating that into the story would mean probably poisoning them. I need to get close to them, poison their food, wait until they eat it, wait until the poison. Yeah, it takes too much time. So I just walk towards them and say, excuse me, have you heard the fighting noises? Do I need to be afraid? Just need to point out that I look very like doctory, like a gentleman. I am so afraid, could you please? And then I just want to get close to them and stab them to death with my dagger, my ritual dagger.
Okay, we're going straight to open violence.
Yes.
I learned my lesson. I'm not showing the thing now. So what talent are you using?
Dagger.
Oh, of course, yeah. So you draw as many cards as you have, and I'm gonna draw mine. And again, the thing is, like, the main thing is like you want to make me play cards. So the way this works, because the opposition is light, I only drew 1 card, and as soon as this happens, the violence is going to be over, which is nice. So I think in reaction to you trying to stab them, they try to scatter, but it's hard because you're in a shed. So they're kind of constrained a bit. This doctor has just come out to try and stab them. Cool. Let's see what you. Okay. Yeah. Good thing you did draw a red card, because I don't know how you would defensively stab anyone.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I drew a jack, so tough luck. So if the player's card is red and the cards, I don't know if the GM's card is red. Okay. Okay. If the GM's card is higher, I got to draw another card. I'm sorry. That's because if my card is black and yours is red and mine is higher, I get to draw another card.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So okay. So here's something you can do. The thing is, like, if this happens, violence is just going to keep happening. You can still say I'm using dagger. I can still get to draw a card. So it's still going to keep happening. Or you can use your devilry here.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Which is an automatic 10. So I think what this looks like, because I get to draw another card. Sorry, just getting messages. Okay, so what this looks like is, tell me what prayer you're using and add that to the description of what you're doing, because basically you try to stab at them, but they do manage to get away from like the shed, and the most you stab is like the cheesecake that they were eating. That's where your dagger ends up, and they scatter kind of like they kind of go around the shed. They're almost kind of like circling around you.
Yes, I start dancing wildly, doing this and doing craw craw and summoning summoning murder. Summon a flock of crows, rooks, ravens, and other carrion birds to do your bidding.
Hey.
Lovely. All right. So what you're going to do when you do that is you are going to draw from the sister deck, which is that. So they all count as 10. The main thing that you need to watch out is whether they are you draw a card representing the sister you're stealing magic from. It's kind of like the main thing. So draw.
Tell me
And you're
when.
going to play that against my card.
Hmm.
Yours card is going to count as a 10. Basically, if I have an ace, the only way I can like beat your card is if I have an ace. Which you never know. Okay, what's the card? Jack, the black Jack. Don't worry, prayers of pestilence are under a black queen, so you're fine. Sister didn't notice. Unfortunately, I drew an ace, so
We're never going to reach that.
we're gonna get to this
no.
boat. It's amazing. Don't worry.
Its whole
don't worry.
mission is to steal the boat. You realize?
The mission is to steal the boat.
It's a very
You'll
special boat.
Yeah, the wedding is tomorrow. Today's just a feast, you know. So there's another chance to kill this guy the next day. Okay, so if the GM's card is red and the player's card is black, yeah. Okay. Oh, don't worry. It doesn't say that I get another card. It's just that you're gonna somehow, even though you're a fucking rave, you summoned crows, right?
Yes.
I think
lots of them.
Yes, I think that will be enough to like annoy them and like kind of keep them busy. But I think one of them takes out like a pistol and kind of just starts shooting wildly, and it's gonna catch you at the shoulder. So you're gonna mark body and take a condition broken shoulder.
Yes, I'll do that while I watch the birds going full Hitchcock on them.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Can I use summon murder in this incursion again, or is it used up now?
You mark your pestilence, the number of dots you have.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
It's the number of times you can use that.
What was it? Broken shoulder?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
You bastard! Eat him alive! Birds.
And the tops are like, oh, we got hit by a doctor, now I got hit with these birds. That's not what they sound. I don't know why they sound like like that. Cool. So you get through. Let's cut to
And we get to keep the shadow token, right?
That's the main thing. You get to keep your lovely shadow token.
Yay!
Just 2 more tokens to go. I know.
The Sisyphean task, you know.
It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You're just gonna keep getting violent. It's gonna be okay. It'll be fine. All right. Let's cut back to the alley. Peter and Sarin, and I got a message from David saying his router is playing heck at the moment. Ooh. Yeah, his Zoom isn't reloading at all right now, so we'll have to press on without him for the moment. We'll probably say like Lefric has gone to like corral these kids that seem to be working for.
I've got an idea. There is a dead guard here, right? A dead Lefric guy, and you said they all had these weird hats.
Yes.
So let's take one of these hats and use that as a disguise, and march on. Because if I cannot sneak, maybe I can disguise. I can project being what were the name of these guys? Something with T. Tillicans. Tillicans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost as silly a name as their hats.
Exactly.
Oi! I say to you, as you say that, don't you make fun of the hat.
I mean, it's criticism from a place of love, obviously. We're allowed to give out about the hat if we're members of the gang, right?
Okay, so I think taking the hat and like using it as disguise, that sounds like a stealth draw. You're pressing on.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm using disguise. I mean, I would use disguise here, but just should I draw?
Yes, draw first. Draw 2.
I'm drawing 2. Ooh.
You want to screen share again?
It's a 19, so
that's pretty good.
Think I'll be good with that.
You'll want that because on an 18 to 20, you glide through like a shadow. You're gonna take a shadow token. Basically, 18 to 21 is like the sweet spot. You don't hit opposition, and you get a shadow token.
So that means we have 2 shadow tokens. So when I mess up, we'll be back to square one, right?
Yay!
You're not gonna come. Oh, you little faith.
No.
Come on. So the GM will describe the opposition you would have faced and describe how you just bypass it without directly encountering it. I think, well, there's a side of the warehouse you can see is just being attacked by crows. What's up with that? And I think the opposition you would have faced is like, I think you see like there is like, you see searchlights kind of like in the distance, and you see that like searchlights are moving closer and closer, and you can see that like they're actually on top of this like, it's so weird. It's a carriage without a horse. Instead, on the front is like this mass of machinery and pipes as they kind of like drive the automobile onwards. And on top of the carriage, there was like a guy with a searchlight. How do you bypass it, Sarn?
Tip my Tilican hat to him. That weird way they have that I've seen before, because when I was gliding through the shadows, and because I am obviously a Tilican. Who could doubt that?
Yeah, who could doubt that? You know, you said "oi." That's all they need to hear.
Exactly. Maybe I say "oi, go off." So that.
All right, cool. So, Peter, be more optimistic. Come on.
Peter is entirely optimistic. Donna, on the other hand.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I am following through with the same kind of confidence and such.
Yeah, you don't get a hat, sadly.
So I will draw 2 cards.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I can screen share this.
That is 12. Ooh. And when you hit again on a 12, nothing ever bad happens, right?
Do you want to stick with 12? You can if you stick with a 12 now, you do get the shadow token.
Which is to murder some people.
Yeah. I will say it doesn't say if you can't spend your shadow tokens as soon as you get it. I don't think it says here. But you can say you can get this and you can just spend it so you don't see the opposition, or you can draw, or you can mark a talent to get rid of one of these. Any useful talent. You got a bevy of them.
So how many 10s have we seen so far? We've seen 2 for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So possibly 2 left out of 20. So it's a 10% chance of going bust. I like those odds, right?
Okay. You okay? Okay.
I'm gonna regret this, right?
Okay. Don't worry.
Ace.
That's an ace.
So
it's an ace.
It could be
so
a 1, right? It could be a 1.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a 13.
It's a 13.
No, you wouldn't want it as an 11, no.
No, I mean, choosing it to be 11 would just be completely masochistic.
Yes. God, I'm seeing Peter trying to do a Sarnes, but he doesn't have the hat. It doesn't work as well.
I mean, you could go on drawing.
I could go on drawing, right?
Yes.
Slightly worse odds, but to hell with this malarkey.
Okay.
I'm going to draw again.
Okay.
9. Bam. Okay.
Wow, we're never going to get out of this warehouse.
No, never get out of this warehouse district.
Wow. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, like, just because we have an hour and a half left. So we'll see where we end up. Don't worry.
Rocks fall, we die, I think, is the traditional way to manage this kind of messing up.
This is honestly amazing. This is so much. Okay. I'm sorry. You gotta follow the rules. I gotta. Yeah. I'm sorry. There go your shadow tokens. I think what this is what this looks like is spotlights open up from the top of the warehouse, and they catch like all three of you. And you hear like that automobile stop, and then you hear like I know we're saying like 19th to the 20th century, but I'm gonna say right now you hear like a siren going off. This like caterwauling clatter of of clanking like cans. It sounds quite a bit primitive, but they're clanked in such a force that it is clear that the warehouse district is being woken up almost. And you hear like automobiles kind of like just squeal, more of those carriages gonna squeal, and you hear I'll say like there's two that kind of like us parked on the street in front, and they're coming out are more Tilican of them folks, and they're armed with more than just flares. For sure this time. Okay, don't worry. It's aggressive, heavy opposition. I'm sorry. At least three. I'm gonna keep it 3 because I like y'all. But I will say that like everyone is gonna be involved in this. So.
Oh, I don't know if you saw this, but David just wrote in random that he weirdly cannot connect to Zoom or the playing cards thing, but to everything else.
That's
I don't know.
Really weird. Just those two, the two exact things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell him that we're doing a very good job. That we've made it to the wedding feast.
I've told him we haven't made any progress yet, so that he doesn't feel too bummed about. But after the game is over, I will tell him that we were supposed to murder and rescue the princess and liberated a unicorn.
Yeah. You somehow found like the long
on their canopies.
Yes. Okay. Wow. This is a lot. Wow. Don't worry, we still have the inside of the warehouse to deal with. There we go. There's a way to extend this set. Okay. You do have the option to flee if you wish to discontinue the fight. It's just that you can either
if we have shadow tokens.
You either spend it on each marked body, take a condition. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, maybe not that. All right.
Heavy aggressive opposition means we cannot use guile, right?
Yeah, no, this is like straight to violence.
Don't
worry.
Escalate to using a rifle. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I mean, everyone has woken up already, so.
Yeah.
True. How did we get that flame token in the first place, by the way?
Oh, it was that was kind of like it was a consequence of, because like there was a guile that happened that had a complication. I think.
Right.
The flame token.
These flame tokens are incredibly.
I'm kind of realizing, because last time I ran this, nobody got a flame token. I was like, I'm gonna see what happened. Turns out a lot. So maybe I shouldn't have done that. My bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Totally okay.
Okay. All right.
We're all having fun.
Are you? I hope so. I hope so. Okay.
Yeah. Let's kick some
ass. The characters maybe not.
This is a whole session
but
of an engagement role.
I'm using my.
Yeah. What are you using, Sarn?
I am using. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, probably you can. I'm using my dagger to no one's surprise.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And poor doctor who nearly got scot-free, but suddenly sirens going off. Honestly, like if you don't, because you got through that stuff, you can choose not to be. I can say the lights are on Peter and on Sarn, but are you gonna leave your colleagues out in the lurch?
Come on. I'm gonna help them.
Okay. All right.
I have only one broken shoulder.
So Leandro, just before we get help, you said if we run out of the deck, we lose, right? There's 18 cards left.
Yeah.
15 now. I've drawn my 3 already.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of exchanging one of my cards.
Okay,
So.
well, burn that candle at both ends and the
Yeah,
middle.
I mean, sure.
Wow, this is a lot.
Caution is a thing for people who burn their candle only at one end. So
Yeah, I think that is exactly what Ollie says, and when we get to somewhere in this,
it's an old Irish saying that it was said by an Irish character, so played by a Croatian.
We claim everything said by Irish people, fictional, non-fictional, real and imagined.
Okay, all right,
or who passed through Shannon Airport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna make the first move because I choose who I target. I am targeting Peter. I think because the spotlight is on you in more ways than one. Oh yeah.
Before we go, can I exchange one of my cards if I mark one of my thingies here, my dagger, for example?
If you don't wish to play a card, you don't have to exchange it, but you can keep it in your hand. But if you don't wish to play a card from your hand on your turn, you can instead draw from the sister's deck using Devil.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. We are not going to screen share because you can see my hand. Haha, that's you using Guy out there. I can see. Too bad. You just get to see our lovely faces who tell me they're having fun. Okay, so I think there's gonna be a shot of a pistol that's just gonna barely miss you, Peter. Not like close, but like kind of like near your body. They're just gonna take a shot. You don't see where it's like come. You can probably tell where it's coming from. You don't exactly see it, but it's dark, it's rainy. Someone shoots a fire, boom. Yeah. Actually, I take it back. You can't see where it's coming from.
Well, I'm going to return fire. That's traditional in these circumstances.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, actually, I just realized, yeah, if the same cards, both blows kind of like land, but like it'll be fine because you're getting rid of my cards. If both cards are red, both blows land. The player and the GM should properly describe this is the guard that stabs you. Yeah. So yeah, do you get hit again? You think?
Well, I mean, I don't see any other way I can take damage. If someone is shooting at me with a pistol,
maybe some of the
discouraged. I could be discouraged.
Yeah.
People shooting at people tends to discourage them a lot.
Yeah. So mark another body. And you get another condition. Racking up these conditions.
I can say only a flesh wound, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, we all know what that means. The nice thing though with red against red is like, what do? You shoot. If you will, your blow will land as well. Both blows land on.
Yeah, but I think in the interest of our mission, I'm not actually aiming at the soldiers, or the guards, even though they might think I am. I'm hitting the searchlights.
Hell yeah. You know what? Because it's kind of cruel for me to pick which one to discard. Pick left or right, because I have to discard one of my unplayed cards as well.
Left.
Okay. Not gonna tell you what that was. Cool. So I only have one card in my hand. So Doctor, you can just like stick back. It'll be fine. It'll be grand. Or yeah, you can do that because like I think Sarn wants to like you want to do a devil thing.
Yes.
I mean, so.
I mean,
what happens if you put out a black card and I put out if you put out a red card and I put out a black card?
What happens is we compare card values.
Yeah.
If my card is higher, I land my blow, you mark a body and take a condition. If yours is higher, you avoid the blow, and you can choose between drawing another card or taking a shadow token.
Oh, okay. Then I know what I put out here. Have you already?
No, I haven't. Well,
okay.
Since you want to be targeted, I'll tell you what this looks like. I think like so Peter got pistol fire, you get musket fire. So
damn.
I think here's a horrible thing. They shoot the hat off your head.
Oh. Oi! Here's my card. The look at that.
Okay. Hold on. Let me double check some because I know what I had.
Oh no.
What does it say? So I'm trying to figure out what it says on a draw.
Okay.
Compare them.
But is the queen higher?
Oh
than
yeah,
the
I think in violence it doesn't. It's different. I think mine is higher.
Damn.
Ooh.
Oh no.
But don't worry, I'm out of cards, so the violence is
Okay.
over. It's just that you're gonna take another condition.
Okay.
Yeah. So the violence is so that's a weird thing about this. It's like you're gonna get hit, but like because you're being defensive because you use black. What does it look like when like more musket fire hits and you manage to like get away?
I think what happens is that they shoot the head off my face, and besides the oi, I mean, I don't much care about that head. I care more about the fact that they actually kind of hit me with their stupid musket thingies. And I think this is the time where you just kind of. So you're out of cards, and that means that they aren't after us anymore, right?
Yes, yeah. If
Okay.
I'm out of cards, the opposition has been overcome. The fight is over.
So I guess what happens here is that after yelling "Oi," I will follow up this with a few thrown daggers, mostly to get them off our back. But I guess that kind of confuses them a little, at least, and makes them a bit more cautious in their approach. And then we kind of tiptoe away, and they're looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Okay. I think maybe like if it's okay, Dr. Gert has like a door open to like the warehouse.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Everyone
Please.
get in here because like daggers have been thrown, spotlights have been like busted.
And he's standing there just patting his rat. Little Reddy has shown me a way. Come on, follow us.
Hell yeah.
I'm just barely not throwing my dagger at the rat.
God. Okay.
Little Reddy.
I think when you get into the warehouse, it's a mess of a warehouse. It's very higgledy-piggledy. There's lots of boxes and crates. You can tell like some machines that are in the middle being disassembled to put into crates. You don't know where the fuck this boat is. And it's a shipping warehouse as well. So it's like there's like a pier inside. So there's like water. And you can see like the obvious boats, the ones you can see, are like staffed and manned. I'm gonna say you're like in a shadowy corner. You're in a warehouse, but where's the boat? Where's the boat? All right, who wants to do stealth draw next?
Is it a flat pack boat that we have to assemble ourselves?
Maybe that's that. Look, that's how I'm reasoning why we're still in this set.
I have an idea actually, because there might be still some tired or drunken boat ride. Is that the word for a person who makes a boat, lying around snoring, because that's the place where he sleeps, and then I can intimidate him into telling us where the fucking boat is, because I've had it with these bollocks.
Fair. Bollocks has been had. All right. I think before you get to the guy, you have to do a stealth roll. I would say right now, because time is running out in your deck. Let's share this with the video again. You're 13 cards. If you pull off a 5-card trick or get a 21, you will get that discard pile back.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're kidding me, right?
I'm just saying. All right.
Okay. I'll start drawing here.
Yeah. After yourself, I'm going to turn to the doctor because.
Okay. Because I've got a 12.
It's another 12. It's a cursed number.
Draw another.
Okay.
And it's not a 12 anymore. It's a 20.
20.
So
20 is pretty good.
No.
20 means
it's an ace, and then it's 21.
That's a bit close. It's a bit.
I'm not. No. Fuck it. I'm not doing that. I mean, of course, we could use any shadow tokens here. This would be the perfect no.
No, I think.
No, I
So
don't
yeah,
think so.
yeah, you're gonna accept that. I'm already.
Yeah, I'm gonna accept. That's fine. So
Okay, yeah. So the opposition would have been, yeah, I think you go up to this like sleepy drunk, and you notice like the opposition is like, he is not just one drunk. There are like 3 other drunken like members next to them, also kind of like sleeping, and you start shouting, and you were gonna wake all of them up. But how do you like, how do you? How did you? Okay, maybe not. Okay.
I'm just quietly go up to him, put my dagger up to his throat, and then whisper in his ear, "Hello, Mr. Boatwright. You're dreaming this. I'm pretty sure you're dreaming this, but you can die in a dream in the city. Tell me where the boat is that will take us to the island, and nothing bad will happen to you. Nothing at all, except for this little scratch on your neck."
To the northeast side, where they're disassembling the creature.
Creature.
That's what they call it. It's a code name, I think, for some kind of machine. Don't worry about it. We're just dreaming, right?
You're just dreaming. You're just dreaming. Yes. And then I choke him a little, so he goes back to sleep.
Okay. He's thankful for that. It's gonna be hard to go back to sleep because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, Dr. Gert. Yeah. You've got a broken shoulder and you're just hanging about. What are you up to?
So we are heading in, what was it, north direction?
The northeast like side of the warehouse where they're disassembling the creature.
Yes. Okay, our mission is still to get to that boat, right?
Yes. You're here. This mission is to assassinate a dude who is very much not on this shore. He's on an island.
Okay. So I would still, attempting a stealth check for. You're still screen sharing, by the way.
Oh yeah, I noticed. Yeah, and then I started going to Slack.
I would still using stealth in order to get more shadow points, because we need 3 to get to the boat, right?
Yes, yeah. The main thing, the main way to get shadow tokens is to use stealth. The thing is, like, describe how you're infiltrating the environment through stealth. This could be something even just like watching out for patrols, looking for specific people, anything in the fiction that could be described as like pressing on to the environment. It doesn't always just have to be skulking in the shadows, although that's always not too bad.
Of course not.
You can blend in. You can do it Hitman style.
Yes. Okay, let's just say that, I'm an alchemist and I specialize in poison, and I'm going to poison myself to get some sort of superhuman kind of senses, so I can hear water against a rocking boat or whatever, and I can try to identify the kind of boat that it is. And we're looking for a specific type of boat, and I'm saying that I can hear that once I'm poisoned, I've poisoned myself. So I'm just taking out a little flask and drinking that, and then see what happens. I mean, what could go wrong, right?
What could go wrong? Draw 2 cards.
Okay, I'm not from the screen share screen.
Oh yeah, clicking on me.
There we go.
All right, let's see this. So excited.
8. And okay, it's a 4 because we always start with 12, right? No, it's a 3. Okay, I discard the 3 by checking the poison.
All right, so we'll discard a 3.
Okay. And drawing another card. Let's see. Oh, 8. So we're at 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a light opposition, right?
Yes, you will get a shadow token, but you encounter a light opposition.
So anything that is 6 or higher, that's too dangerous. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Come on, leave the risky draw for the last one so we lose more.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, so light opposition needs to be overcome. We cannot use Guile because it will cost us a shadow token. And then we never move forward. So we need to continue with violence again.
Or you could draw 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But hey, no.
Are you gonna stick with
Okay,
this?
so I imagine the doctor running around with these eyes and listening to the sound of water and boats and whatever, and all of a sudden he's turning to his friends, or friends is probably not the correct word, but he's turning to his
colleagues.
Yes, exactly. What should I do? Should I drink more to get better hearing? What do you think, my friend?
Better not. We'll need you on the island.
Peter, what's your opinion? There's still a few drops left in the bottle.
I mean, you could try poisoning some of your ravens, murder the murder, but that's all the useful advice I have. I think you should, stay just as poisoned as you are now.
All right, okay. Great, I will do that, my friends. I will do that. And yes, I leave it at 16.
Okay, cool. So you get a token and encounter light opposition. I think so. The moment you kind of like wander out to like try and find a boat, and you can sense where you find a boat. You got this supernatural kind of like sense from this poison. Amazing. But I think as you kind of like wandering about, you run into a person who's also kind of like woozing about, and you can feel them clapping and like grabbing him by the shoulders, and they look at you and they say, "Doctor, is that you?" The woman says in a far too loud voice. Oh, sorry, no, you don't have to stab her. You can like hit her with a bit of your but no, she's a bit loud. So what she's doing is like she's drawing attention. It's like, "Doctor, you showed me the ways of the kings, and I was talking about the kings. So they brought me here to talk about the kings, the roses."
Oh, the dagger, my dear friend, the dagger. See, here it is again. And then I stab her.
Okay, all right, all right. Let's get into violence, I guess. Draw a card.
You're still sharing your screen. Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. Well, there you go. You know what? Who cares? Do you want me to redraw a different card? Because you saw what that card is.
Yeah, I did, unfortunately. So
yeah, it's fine. Look, you're down to 6 cards in your deck. You're gonna lose anyway, unless you get a 21.
Shall I reveal my card?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, fuck. I hate this.
Don't worry. It still works. It's just she's gonna. I think like what this happens is, oh yeah, you also mark your
dear Ollie, if you're watching this, I don't hate your game. It's just very frustrating in the moment.
It's quite gamey. I've just realized it's quite gamey. Okay, so don't worry. You're just gonna get hit, and she's also gonna hit you. You still won the violence. It's just that I think as you kind of like stab her, she kind of like. Let's see. What is it that you did to her again?
Sorry.
What is it that you did to her again?
Oh, I just scratched her with the dagger, and maybe I sort of poisoned the dagger in advance, but.
Yeah, I think she just like exhales this like last breath, and this like pungent cloud kind of like goes up your nostrils. Take the condition burnt. I don't know, was it burnt nose? I'll say burnt lungs. They're kind of like scalded by this gas as she kind of like dies in your arms.
Yeah, but I talked to her soothingly. See, it's all over. The kings and queens await you.
Hey, I just wanted to be a rose, Doctor. And yeah, make sure to hide her in like a container because they never check that. Well, no, we're playing Dishonored. We're not playing Hitman. Okay, yeah, Peter, we come to you. We are one shadow token away from at least getting out of this warehouse district.
So yeah, I guess I will. I guess I will. So there's guards around, and there's been a scuffle off on the side. So I guess I'm just gonna sling my rifle and walk up to the boat. You know,
Okay.
real casual, but not too casual, right?
Okay. Yeah, not too casual. Okay. Let's see. Make a stealth draw. And I'm just gonna start sharing again.
8. That is.
8. If you have a relevant devilry, you can draw that to get a 10. That'll get you up to 18.
Well, I do have Steel Self, by which I can, step elsewhere and then step out of elsewhere. But I'm not sure. I mean, that helps me get to the boat, right? I don't know if it helps us get to the boat.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, because that'll take you up to 18 if you do that.
Yeah.
And you will get all the shadow tokens. And once you cash that in, we can just say how all of you get to the boat.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I will do that. Step elsewhere, and hopefully I will be able to step back because I have to draw the card, and right, if I draw the wrong card.
Yes. Well, you'll get the tension. The thing is, like, it's not going to do anything bad. It's more long-term stuff, and that your soul gets marked. You get a soul condition, which is a bit different from a body condition.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my soul for a boat, to misquote a Shakespearean king.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. You're looking to avoid a blackjack, so you're grand for now. The sisters are grand, but you get an 18. So on an 18, you are gonna get a shadow token, and you glide through like a shadow.
Job done. We got the boat.
Yeah. So yeah, each of you give me a detail of what this looks like as you get to the boat and you finally cast off this fucking warehouse district. I kind of want a detail from each of yourselves.
I mean, I have burned lungs, so I'm probably coughing all the time. And whenever I do, I hold my shoulder because it's broken. But I'm still on my feet, I guess. That's the... and I'm still slightly poisoned. So I'm like, yes, we found... my shoulder. We found it. God damn it.
What about Sarn or Peter? How are they feeling?
Yeah, I think Peter is rowing. I don't know how big this boat is supposed to be.
It's fairly, it's smallish. Yeah, it says a small boat.
Okay, so I think Peter is rowing, and with every stroke, he grimaces with his broken rib, and there's like a splotch of blood lands under his seat.
Sarn?
Yeah, I mean, she gets in the boat and looks back almost wistfully at the warehouse because, I mean, yeah, we are not even where we're meant to go with all these enemies and all this opposition, and we're all pretty badly injured already, and somehow our buddy, whatever his name was, Leftfrick, has been left behind, or has left us behind, which might have been the saner choice here. Well.
Those kids.
Yeah, well, you know what? This can only end in tragedy. At least I hope I can put in a good performance so that people will remember me. But probably I just gonna drown in the river.
Yeah. So that's the interesting thing. We are down to 4 cards on the royal deck. Do you want to play through to see if you get lucky?
There's a certain value to crashing and burning or succeeding gloriously.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that like normally there are chances of they say you sometimes you fail a mission and that just happens. It's like
we just need to hit 21, right?
Yeah, you just need to hit 21. Yeah, you can't really do a 5
we
card
can't get a 5-card draw with 4 cards.
You do have, some of you still have devilries. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So we should try. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've been here for another hour. Let's take one last 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Let's come back at 6 minutes. Let's come at 45 past the hour. And then we'll round this off and see how our merry band goes.
We'll crash and burn.
Oh god.
I mean, come on, it's not realistic to think that we will make it.
Well, you never know.
We managed one set in 3 hours. Okay, we spent 1 hour of these creating characters, but still.
So 2 hours. Okay, it just happens. I'm gonna pause this.
I mean, I'm having fun. This is a lot of fun. So
yes, absolutely.
All right, be back in 5. Okay. So I think as the 3 of you row out into the sea, the rain kind of like thins out. The rain like becomes more of a drizzle. Well, as a drizzle as black oil rain is in this world, and you see it like you see it like a ways away from Laefendport, a small, largely barren, rocky island. It looks desolate. The only thing that makes it look like there's life is, well, this fort that's on top of the island. This rather small, but still, quite intimidating like port. That's got like the fort. It's kind of like these. It's got these like. You can see like the bulbous like watchtowers kind of like jutting out of it. And you can see like there are some searchlights, but you can see that like they don't seem to be on alert despite the ruckus happening in the warehouse district, because there's no instant communication here. They can't really know. Be ridiculous of them to put up telegraph lines over the water, so they don't know of the nonsense that's been happening in the warehouse district. But yeah. So, and you can see like a beach against like this. The fort is like this wrecked ship that's kind of like just left there, almost as kind of like, hey, it's there for decoration. It's kind of a warning. Dead men tell no tales. It's almost like being on a ride, except you are the pirates. Except instead of being the onlookers watching the pirates. I've been reading a lot about Disneyland lately. Anyway, your objective for this set is simple: infiltrate Fort Leodruhn. Let me write that down. Oops, I wrote down Leodruhn. There we go. Yeah. So we've got 4 cards. Who wants to take the lead in this?
Anyone? Volunteers? Piotr, Sarn, what about you? Any ideas? My shoulder fucking hurts.
I think we just try to be quiet.
Excellent idea.
And I mean, I have there's going to be a wedding. Maybe we can pretend to be acrobats or some such. I have a Tamra's cloak. Of course, it's singed now.
We are not in great shape if they ask for us to show.
I could juggle. No, I can't. I have a broken shoulder.
Yeah.
I'll say right now, you're still on the boat. You're just making your way to the island.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first things first. Let's get on the island and then try to figure out how to get
landing in a quiet spot would.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe our first step.
Yeah, maybe.
How many shadow tokens do we need for this?
It's always 3.
Oh, always same. Okay, always 3. Right. 3. Mm-hmm. As easy as that.
Yeah. All right, who's taking the lead? Someone has to. We got to get off the boat.
I mean, I can take the lead if nobody else wants to, but I've been
Who has
doing
the
that a
relevant-
lot. But
Who has relevant magical skills?
You do
Yeah.
have relevant magical skills, yes.
I do? No.
Well, just to get to the island, you might have to slow time. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm not slowing time because we don't have that anyway. I'm just thinking stalking seems like a fine idea because, I mean, Peter is rowing the boat. And I will, you know what, the tumbler's cloak is ruined anyway, so I'll wrap it around the oars so we make not a lot of splash. And then we'll see how this goes, probably. I'm not trying to channel being a shadow this time. I'm just trying to be quiet.
All right, draw 2 cards.
Okay, should we screen share this?
Oh,
epic,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone
Because,
who-
you know, we
Sure.
can't get a 5-card
Just
draw
imagine
this
the glory,
time.
right?
True.
So, yeah, there's a 3, which just means that my
Need an
body
ace.
thingy is triggered, right?
We need an 8.
Oh, yes. What that means, like, you're just going to get marked. You don't,
Okay.
nothing bad is going to happen yet.
Cool. My bloody musket wound starts bleeding a little more. How nice. I'm drawing the second card. It's a 4. Great. So it's a 7. So I have to go on drawing, right?
Yeah, or you can use it
Kinda.
to get a 10 and you get a 17, but even then you're gonna get light opposition.
Hmm.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll.
I mean,
I'll
no.
use.
I mean, we need 21. Otherwise, the game is over. The mission has failed.
It's true.
Yes.
So-
you need 21.
Okay, I'll draw one more card because that's, and then we'll see where we're going, right?
Okay.
Hello,
Yeah.
card, come here. You're my card. No, I'm drawing on
Screen
a
share.
shared screen. It's another 3.
I got
Yay!
a 10.
So it's a 10.
So maybe there's an ace left. If there's an ace left,
Yes.
final card, you're fine.
Maybe.
The bloody musket wound is still bleeding a lot.
Oh
so
yes,
we're-
yeah.
We've got, yeah. Okay, I'll draw the last card, right?
Okay, let's
Guys?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay, I'm doing it. There we
Everyone
go.
is over.
It's a 9.
It's a 9.
It's a 9.
Wow.
So it's a, let me see, it's a 19. So it's a 6.
What's your
But I don't know.
Your-
I feel a bit
We
woozy.
get to the island, but
yeah, so let me read out what happens. If the royal deck is ever exhausted, and this can happen surprisingly fast if you're careless, thanks Ollie, you have taken too long in your mission and fail at your goal. No, don't take this as a slight, Ollie. This game is great. This is just a ridiculous circumstance. The GM will determine what effect this has on the narrative, and rest assured, it shall not be a pleasant one. Giant squid comes up and eats you all. No, I'm kidding. I think as it's choppy, waves are like quite rough, so you don't see when this sleek black dagger of a ship kind of like just comes out on the bend, and I don't think it even sees you. It doesn't see you. You don't see it. Well, you feel it when it smashes like against your boat.
Oops.
It kind of like dashes into pieces and flings the 3 of you into the water. And you can see like this boat, which looks like, you've not seen this kind of boat before. You're used to like, tall ships, sails, that sort of thing. This thing doesn't have sails. This thing is belching out this black oily smoke into the atmosphere. And I think as you're kind of like bobbing in the water, you see marked proudly on the side are the insignia of House Foreyda. And you can see that actually you don't see your target, the wordsmith Logan de Foreyda, because why would he be out there? That's ridiculous of him. He's a paranoid man. He knows the Red Hand is out to get him. You do see his bodyguard. Who is, as I mentioned, a former member of the Red Hand, Beatrice Throdor, ex-member of the Right Hand. Which of you would know Beatrice? I was saving this question should you ever get to her, but who would know Beatrice quite well, right, out of the three of you think? Or it is actually no. She instead, I want to know how each of you know her. She is the so-called deadliest woman on the continent, so she would have been well high up in House Wilderose, the royal house's like guard. And here she is working for the traitor who wiped out your chargers, your masters, your families. How do each of you know her?
She's so incredibly deadly, then she's probably one of my customers, and I sold her one of my most potent poisons that I've created, and now I realize that was a mistake. Wow. That's how I know her.
I think during the Great Betrayal, Peter took a bullet for her and got her into safety of the castle, you know, when no one knew that she was the traitor.
That's rough.
Oh, wow. I think I used to totally admire her. I mean, she was so deadly, and I was just an actress, right? I was an upcoming actress. And still she noticed me. But yeah, well, after the betrayal, I left her. Or she left me. I don't know. It was just one night anyway. Right? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, I don't know how you feel, but she's like standing at the back of this ship, looking out into the sea. She doesn't even notice the three of you. Just specks in the water. And you can see like the ship is driving out into the distance, and you can see there are more ships out in the horizon. Not just ships, like an entire fleet. And you see that this marriage, this wedding feast, it's the start of something new. It's the start of, well, okay, it's not really a start, it's more of a continuation. It's an expansion. The Night Rain is hoping, and the rain with the EIG, not the rain. Or maybe both, who knows? Who knows what the noble houses are up to? But the Night Rain can't stay in this one continent forever. There's an entire world out there. And this marriage binds these houses together. Marriage could have been stopped, probably, but maybe that's for another day. Right now, we just leave the three of you out into the water. There is probably like a squid watching, but can't even be bothered to like. It does say here they're like creatures in this set, but they're more curious than hostile. I think.
Also, I'm pretty sure our doctor is poisonous, venomous. Anyway, you shouldn't eat him. That's not good for your health.
That is
true. He's both poisonous and venomous.
Yes. Let's do a round of epilogues. I'm not gonna say you die here in the water. It's too cruel after everything we've been through tonight. What do we see each of you out here in Laefendport or beyond? I have a moment to think. It's like an epilogue. I'm gonna say goodbye to these characters for now.
I think we see Peter getting pulled out of the water out towards the open sea by a fishing boat. The boat hook pulls him out, and I think they are pilfering his pockets for whatever they can get. Maybe I think when they start to take off his nice leather jacket, that's too much. His hip flask he can do without, but not his jacket. He stops them, and I don't know. Maybe he he works on a trawler for a while till the heat goes down.
When Dr. Gert van der Reen is pulled out of the water, he's dead, but he didn't really drown. His lips are black, his tongue is black, his throat is black, and in his hand, an empty vial in which a black liquid used to be, which he must have consumed the moment the ship went down. And he preferred that kind of death by his own poison. Yes.
I think Sarn makes her way to the shore, bedraggled, hurt, bleeding still from this stupid musket wound, which is probably going to get infected and might yet kill her, but not yet. She's not dead yet. And so she limps back through the warehouse district, grabs one of these Tilikarn hats, puts it on her head, and miraculously is rather unmolested, and goes back to the theater. And when she enters, then somebody yells at her, "Hey, where have you been? You're up, you've got to go out there." And you can see her stumbling out there, still bleeding, and looks out and says, "This is the ode to tyranny I wanted to perform today, yet fate was against me. Fate is unkind." And then she drops, and you don't know if she's died or she's just unconscious or whatever. And besides, that was not her part. Everybody's staring at her like, what are you talking about?
Good thing to note that this game is also rooted in trophy. So good vibes.
Abject failure is completely on point.
Yeah. So that was Night Rain. Wow, that did not go where I thought it went. But thank you all very much for being troopers. Sadly, David was claimed by terrible technical problems. Oh, I see it's working now. Of course it is working now.
I mean, in game, we all think that Leofric betrayed us, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
One point, the ghost of Dr. Van der Reen will go
haunt
and get him.
Leofric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Rightly so.
I'm gonna stop this recording. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Anyone wants to check out the Gauntlet, there'll be links down below. Check out Night Rain by Ollie Jeffrey of Sinister Beard Games. Oh, this beard is sinister. I'll put a link down below as well. Check it out. It's a cool ass game. And I think when this PDF came out, he ran a jam for hacks of this game. So I'll put a link down below as well to that jam. See if there's anything cool coming out. Playing with this ridiculous blackjack system. Dear God, some of those card draws were a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you all so much for watching or listening wherever you may be.